So now what I've built are my inclusion criteria. There are no exclusion criteria, they're either in or they're out. So now what we do is we go back to our papers that we had found and that we've got stored in RefWorks, and we basically open up the paper and we go through and we tick off each of the, we tick off each of these boxes. Has it ticked my box for the population? Has it ticked my intervention, my comparator, my outcome? Now this is really important. For a paper to be counted, it has to tick all 4 boxes. So it cannot tick just 3 of them and miss 1 of them. It has to tick all 4. The only one that there is a slight caveat on is this box here, where you may have, as we've got here, multiple variables. The paper only has to tick 1 of those variables as long as it ticks the other 3 to be included. So we can suddenly whittle down the papers, and we suddenly get down to papers that are absolutely relevant to the review that we want to carry out. And so if you get stuck, this kind of just gives you a little insight into what those P, I, C, O and S refer to. Don't worry about the study design because we're not necessarily worried about that. But think about each of these. Think very clearly about your population. That's really important. It's really important in terms of putting something like an infographic together which is based upon acknowledging disbelief, that it has to absolutely be clear in who that population is. Otherwise people won't follow what you're referring to. The intervention or the exposure, you know, if you're dealing with football, then they have to be the study has to be a game of football. It can't be simulated unless your infographic is about simulated games of football. Think about the comparator. You know, are you comparing first half to second half, or runners to non-runners, or whatever it is? And then the outcomes are those data variables that you're interested in. So once you've got all of those, you're ready now to do the review. And let me just show you how much this whittles things down. So here we've got an example. This is a review that we ran a couple of years ago, and you can see right at the top how many papers that we started with. Look at the number of papers that were found. We got rid of duplicates, as we've talked about. We then screened the papers, so you can see this is the number that were screened. Don't worry about reviewer 1, reviewer 2. We then have gone, look at this. We've gone down from 5,000, nearly 6,000 papers to just 48. Just 48. We then applied our PICOs. We've gone from 48 down to 29 papers. That's it. Don't worry about this bit here, but can you see how we've gone from a huge number with our big net down to 29? I've got from my whole ocean of fish, I've got my swordfish. I found him. My swordfish with the left eye and the right fin. So what you can do now is you follow that approach when you're putting your infographic together, because that means that you've got literature that is going to inform you about how to build that infographic, and again is going to inform you about having the right information to be able to answer the right question. So follow those stages that we've identified. Identify using databases. Whatever comes out, comes out. Get rid of duplicates if you've got them. Screen them, just looking at the title and the abstract, and then apply your PICOs, and whatever's left are the papers that you are going to work with. You won't be left with large numbers of papers, but can you see how that saves you so much time in terms of the grand scheme of things, in terms of I'm not just sifting through material and hoping to God I find something that is relevant. This will save you time, and will also mean that your literature that you're using is much more precise in terms of the questions that you are asking.